In this video, we're going over the biggest price changes in NBA cards in 2025, from the biggest drop to the highest gain. And what inspired me was a recent video by Scotty B, and he only does baseball content, so I know I wasn't going to make this video on basketball, but he did a video on the biggest price changes of all MLB stars, and I thought it was a very good video. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And let's start. There's 41 players here, so I don't want to make this an hour video, so we're going to go kind of quickly. But the biggest drop over the past year, and let's rewind here. First, we're using Panini Prizm Silver cards. Okay, so the silver cards are a staple of the over the past, I guess, 13 years, and it's kind of weird to think that there will be no Prizm release this year in basketball or football. Really weird. But the Kyrie Irving was all the way a $3,000 card at the beginning of the year, and it's fallen dramatically. You can see there was no sale, very few sales of this card. In August, it sold for about $3,000. In the most recent sale, $1,300, and there's only 27 of them. So before we continue, I want to point something else out. That 2012, well, that was the 2011 draft class and the 2012 draft class as rookies in this Prizm product. So 2012 Prizm, very low pop counts, first year of Prizm, and also a big rookie class because it has two separate years of rookie. Currently, Kyrie's out. He has not played. He's recovering from his ACL, and there's no timeline on when he'll return this year. Sabonis, I love watching Sabonis play in Sacramento with Fox. I get Warrior and King games, and before with that duo, man, I tune into more Kings games than Warrior games. However, his cards fall in the second most. It's not falling. It's not high value. It started the year over in the bottom right. You'll see a starting price. So it started the year at $102. The current price is $46, meaning it's down 54% this year, or a real dollar change of $55. And Sabonis having a good year for his standards. Maybe could have over 20 points per game. A lot of Zach LaVine not getting a lot of assists over there. A lot of, I'm going to hold the ball and shoot type of play for myself type basketball, old Bulls basketball. 17 points per game, 12 rebounds. Sabonis is 29 years old. He'll turn 30 in May. Ja Morant just went up to Klay Thompson, kind of gave him the business. Thompson not happy about it. A lot of the league. Yeah, Ja Morant is he's third biggest fall this year, and this card has done nothing but fall through Ja's career. Anytime you get a little tease, all the talent in the world, just unfortunate situation. It's down 46% this year, almost a $200 drop. It started the year at $420. The current price is $225, and you see there's 1,700. So the year matters. You go back to that first card, which had like 25 because it was 2012, the Kyrie Irving, and then you compare that to Ja Morant. Well, these will age differently because one has under 30 in that pop count, and one has over 1,700. Ja Morant's currently averaging 18 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 7.6 assists. Crazy to think he's already 26 years old. And I don't know. I think there's definitely, you got to believe in the talent. Explosive, but again, he's been in the league since 2019, 2020. So yeah, LaMelo Ball, speaking of 2020, this is the 45% drop for LaMelo Ball. Fun player to watch, but again, aging, and there's some new young talent in the league and some better talent that's winning, and LaMelo Ball kind of takes a back seat, even with Brandon Miller there and Knipple. So you'd figure LaMelo Ball could get it right with some talent there, but this card was a $400 card to start the year, currently at $217. There's only 442, so far less than Ja Morant's year in 2019 was 1,700. That year, they knew Ja and they really knew Zion, so they were overprinting, were printing heavily, knowing Zion was coming in. LaMelo Ball this year, 20 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, and 8.8 assists. So not a bad stat line there, and he's only 24 years old. He'll be 24 the whole rest of the entire season, so he's still young. it just, can he play winning basketball? Does he really care to play winning basketball? Jamal Murray, PSA 10, there's 206 in a PSA 10. It saw almost a 39% drop this year from 150 down to $101, the most recent sale. And a teaser, we see more cards on this list that go up than go down. So we're starting with the drops, but we'll end up finishing with the biggest card player that with the most upside. Again, these are all the Prizm Silver cards, and it is weird to think that there'll be no Prizm this year. So Jamal Murray this year, 23 points per game, 4 rebounds, 6.8 assists. Can Denver? Jokic needs another title. He just does. He needs another title. Anunoby playing in New York right now. I believe in New York, right? Yeah. Down 37%. Not that this is an expensive card. If you want to put in your collection, I don't even know if it belongs on this list. $26. Knicks make a little run in the playoffs. Who knows? There's 260 of them, and it's under $30. He's averaging 16 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. Jason Tatum, had the unfortunate injury in the playoffs last year. Now everybody's sitting out due to calf strains because we see the calf strain can lead to an Achilles and everyone's being conservative. And we see it. This was deep into the season. This is late in the playoffs. All these guys got hurt, but we're being careful on calf strains. This came out in 2017. So, right, it's kind of in the in between of low print run to crazy high print run. There's 927 in a PSA 10. It's currently selling for $590. It started the year at 810. And again, Tatum is out, I think, the entire year. Brandon Miller, counterpart to LaMelo Ball in Charlotte, PSA 10 selling for what, $150? That's all right. I don't know. I see some other cards with better value there. Not that Brandon Miller is not a good player. It's just he's rookie in 2023, so we've only seen so much of him. He's still young. This price started at $200. There's over 2,000 in this pop count. So now you can see the difference where you have in 2012, you're seeing a PSA 10 pop count of 30. In 2017, you're seeing it closer to reach 500 to 1,000. And now in 2023, you're seeing over 2,000. Brandon Miller, 17 points per game. And then look at this, 1 rebound and 3 assists, 3.5 assists. He's 23 years old, but those are not going to cut it. You have to do other things besides score. Trae Young, a great scorer, PSA 10 is currently selling for $108. This card's down 20% on the year. It's selling for $135. And again, there's over 2,000. This is 2018, by the way. So you see the difference. Jason Tatum, just the year prior, 2017, there's 900 something, and then 2018, bam, there's over 2,300 of these. Trae Young, it looks semi-flat most of the year. All these charts, I'll argue, also very volatile. Compared to Scotty B's list on baseball, you see more of a flat trend or more of a normal trend. Some of these cards are far more volatile than this, but down 20% on the year. Trae Young in Atlanta averaging almost 18 points per game, only 2 rebounds and 7.8 assists. Donovan Mitchell, we're getting closer to that midway point where, or not even the midway point, but we're getting closer to that point where, okay, cards are going to start to see in the green or in the black. You're going to start seeing some profit in the cards. But Donovan Mitchell playing in Cleveland is 2017, so we're only 630. And then the next year with Trae Young, there's over 2,300. So I do find pop counts in these instances to be interesting. And in the long run, it will matter who has a short print run and who doesn't. And also you got to win championships. You got to be legendary. In the short term, who knows? But in the long term, that's how it goes. This card's down 18%. Started at $218 beginning of the year, down to $180. Donovan Mitchell averaging 30 points per game this year, nearly 5 rebounds and 5.5 assists. So he's having just another great year. The Cavs will be in the running deep into the East playoffs. And speaking of, well, I don't know, Karl Anthony Towns, 2015. Again, the pop counts are just they're glaring. Only 169. Now, is anyone going to care about Karl Anthony Towns in the long run? And the way it's shaping up, no. This card started at $240 down to $204. It's down 15%. Karl Anthony Towns, 22 points per game. Well, I guess where I was going with that is Karl Anthony Towns, the Knicks versus the Cavs. That could be something deep into the East playoffs. He's averaging 12.3 rebounds. That's not shabby at all. 3.5 assists. But he's 30 years old now. He just turned 30. 30 years old already, Karl-Anthony Towns. Time flies. 2014 rookie Zach LaVine. He won a slam dunk contest, maybe 2. Am I crazy? In 2014, there's only 54. Now, he's not as popular as some of these other players go get graded. There's only 54 in a PSA 10. It last sold for $100. It's down 12.5% this year. LaVine over in Sacramento now averaging 20 points per game. What stood out to me is those 2 assists. 2 assists per game as a guard, possibly even, I think he's a shooting guard, maybe a point guard. Either way, you got to have more than 2 assists per game. Or if you don't, you need to pick up those rebounds. You can't just be scoring. Pablo Banchero, a good, really solid young player in the league, and maybe gets overshadowed, overlooked by other talent, other young talent, Banchero's card's down 8.5% this year. It still holds a hefty price. It started the year at $350. It's currently at $320. Banchero's been battling here in and out of the lineup injuries. He's 23 years old, just turned 23, averaging almost 22 points per game. 8.7 rebounds and 4 assists. I think Banchero's very talented. I think this Orlando team, when it comes to the playoffs, they're going to have a good defensive squad. And defense goes far in the playoffs. De'Aaron Fox goes over to San Antonio. He's having a good year paired with Wemby. This card has lost 7.5% of its value. Started the year at $200, went down to $185. And I'm going to keep going. We have a lot more cards, and we're already 10 minutes in this video, so I want to keep the pace pretty fast. But he's averaging 25 points per game, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. And crazy to think, De'Aaron Fox he's always going to turn 28 here in December, but he's only 27 years old. When you consider he seems far older than some of these other players we've covered, and he's not. He's 27. Porzingis been in the league since 2015. There's only 163 in this pop count, and here we've hit the flat line. This card started at $105, and crazily enough, it's currently selling at $105. And the last sale date was August 11th. It's not an extremely popular card to buy. In Atlanta with Trae Young, almost averaging 19 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 3.3 assists, 30 years old. Jaylen Brown having to do a lot more or asked to do a lot more in Boston without Jason Tatum. This card's up 4.6% on the year, $215. It started out up to $225, so relatively flat for the last year. And, there's his stats, 28 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Jaylen Brown just turned 29. And these guys that you think were young, well, shit, man, he's going to be 30 next year. Insane. Tyrese Halliburton, we know he's out for the year. We know his story. Sad. That calf strain did turn into Achilles tear in the NBA Finals in a huge moment, in a huge game. This is a 2020. You have to figure there's far more of these out there. There's only 448 in the PSA 10, so I'd assume that number to grow because I've seen other 2020 pop counts, or we've seen. This card went from 215 up to 225, and out for the season. Jimmy Butler. He's part of that 2012 class where it's 2 years of rookies. So it's a really big set. And look at these pop counts. There's only 10 in a PSA, there's only 25 in a PSA 10. The card sold for $1,175 beginning of the year, currently selling for $1,250. So, up $75 real dollar, but 6.3%. And Jimmy Butler, he's 36 years old. So, he never won a title. He's a great player, all-star. Will his cards matter in the long run without a championship? Damian Lillard also tears that Achilles. His card's up 7.5%. Not many sales at all. As you see, there's only 45. Part of that same 2012. It's an inaugural Prizm class, and the pop counts are low, and it's a heavy rookie class because it's 2 years. So I see that stuff holding value in the long term. We move to Klay Thompson, who his card has gone up 7.5% from also, again, part of that 2012 class. There's 34 of these. Currently selling for $1,225. Klay Thompson not playing well. He's 35 years old. He's been through some major injuries. I was a big Klay Thompson fan. I don't think Curry can do what he does without a guard next to him that plays that great of defense, that can also shoot the way Klay does. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Curry. Curry clearly the superior player, clearly doing it far longer, and just the best shooter of all time. But Klay Thompson, Monta Ellis was there next to Curry, and you couldn't have those guys both on the same court. Curry would not have had the same career. You needed a defender next to Curry, and it just so happened Klay's an excellent shooter as well. And so part of that class where the pop counts are very low, it's the first Prizm year, so you're paying a premium there. Scotty Barnes was all the talk a few years back, and his card's up 8.4%. From 147 to 160. There's 333 in his PSA 10 Prizm pop count. He's currently averaging just under 20 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, kind of does it all. 24 years old, still young. What can Toronto do in that wide open East? Now, Bradley Beal completely on the opposite end. He was all the talk for a while. There's only 31 in a PSA 10. Again, part of that 2012 inaugural class. Crazy to think he's been in the league that long. It's currently selling for $190. You see that terrible stat line, 8 points per game, but the card is still up 17% this year. 32 years old, Bradley Beal. That's insane. Joel Embiid came to the league in 2014. Another one of those where he was top of the league. He would have been all the hype if there would have been, buy Embiid. Embiid's the guy. This card's still selling for $410. It's up 21%, even though his past year's been, injured or not the best. So some of these cards, these have no rhyme or reason, but 2014, there's only 90 of these in a PSA 10. So then when you see something with 1,500 or 2,000, it's eye-opening. It's not how it used to be printed. They changed it. They changed the game. And will people really care to go after Joel Embiid in 5, 10, 20 years? I'm not sure. Not without championships. He's been in and out of the lineup. He's 31 years old at this point. He's averaging just under 20 points per game. You got to have more than 5.5 rebounds as Joel Embiid in there with 3.3 assists. Oh, if I need a drink of water. All right. Zion somehow is up 28%, almost 29% on the year. This card started at $240, is now up to $310, excuse me. He is averaging 22 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 4 assists. He's still only 25 years old, but I think a lot of us would challenge can he stay healthy? What's the work ethic? Is he going to get in real shape? Will he stop eating everything? Jalen Brunson, phenomenal in New York. I don't think anyone saw exactly Lucas like playing with him in Dallas, but I don't think anyone saw exactly this coming from Brunson. This card's up 32% and hitting almost nearly $300 is the most recent sale. There's 625. It's a rookie in 2018. He's averaging 28.6 points per game, 3.3 rebounds and 6 assists. He's pushing 30 years old, or he'll be 30 years old next season. I always feel Anthony Edwards is a good one to get in the playoffs, the playoff run, the playoff push. People like how he plays. He gets comparisons to Jordan, Kobe, and during that playoff push, his card rises. However, it's been a tease the past few years, and I don't know if it'll do that same thing this postseason, but you see this card's up 33% without a postseason run, from $710 to $950. There's over 2,000 in a PSA 10, so that bothers me. It's not good, and he's got tons. You would think this is the stud. This is the young kid that's going to win titles after titles. The problem is there's so much young competition. And then you have OKC with one loss, and just not only do they have great players, but they have such a well-built team. And now that team has experience and they're well coached. Anthony Edwards is only 24 years old. Brandon Ingram, what a letdown of a career. He's doing his thing in Toronto. His card's up 35% for whatever reason. It's still under $100. The last sale price was $95. There's only 203 of these out there in a silver. It's a low number, 203, especially when you compare it to something like 2,000. Ingram's put up stats his whole career. He just never found himself playing winning basketball on a winning team, and every time he's asked to hit that clutch shot or have that clutch moment, more often than not, it doesn't turn out well. unlike Giannis. Now look at this. There's only 87. He's in the 2013. So the second year Prizm was printed. This card is now hitting 7,500. It's up 36%, which is almost $2,000 this year. And I would say because there's only 87, and I think Prizm Silver is going to be the card that people remember long term, and you can see a lot of these prices are very accessible. Well, with only 87 and it being Giannis, he only has the one title. He's getting older. He still plays phenomenally. He's still one of the best in the league. He needs to get another title as well, but he does have the one. He'll be 31 years old in December. But look at these numbers: 31 points per game, 10 rebounds, almost 11 rebounds per game, almost 7 assists per game. Yeah, and the East is wide open, but I don't know if Milwaukee's good enough. Tyrese Maxey, he's been up and down his career, people hot and cold. I'm glad to see what he's doing this year, but he's so talented. The problem with the point guard position in the NBA, there's so many talented NBA point guards, always. And who's the one, who's the best? It changes every few years. This card is up 63%, $132. Beginning of the year, you could get it for around $200. Now it's at $340, a little bit down from a peak. There's almost 600, and we saw 2020s heavily printed. There could easily be 1,000 to 2,000. This number will keep creeping up. But he's averaging 32 points per game, 4 rebounds, 7.5 assists. He's only 25 years, just turned 25 years old. Tyrese Maxey, a great young talent in the league. Desmond Bane went to Orlando. Part of the reason I think they have a good defensive squad with him and Banchero. His numbers are okay. They're not terrible. His card's up 69%, but it's only a $76 card. There's 310 in a PSA 10, and that just shows he's not extremely in demand or popular to get graded. You can't make a lot of money off it, but there's a lot more of these out there that could be a PSA 10. He's 27 years old. Luka. All right, the Luka show. He goes to the Lake show. This card's up 76% from this time last year when he was, I believe, still a Maverick. It was sold for $937. It's currently at $1,650. The problem is there's 2,400 of them. There's not 200. So I know Luka is a legend and he needs a title and he needs he needs a title. He needs multiple titles. Do I think he's talented enough to do it? Hell yes. Do I think there's a lot of talent in the NBA that could stop him from doing it? Absolutely. He's 26 years old. He'll be 27 later this season. Look at these numbers: 35 points per game, almost 9 rebounds per game, and 9.2 assists per game. He's in great shape. I think he has a chip on his shoulder from what happened to Dallas. But are the Lakers a strong enough team to compete for a title, let alone the West? I don't know, but right now people are the hobby, the card market, the hype. I'm a huge Laker fan. I love Luka before he was a Laker. I mean, him and Wemby are the two most fun players to watch in the NBA besides Steph Curry. Moving to Devin Booker, his card's gone up 77% this year, almost a $300 real dollar jump from $384 to $683. There's only 237. It was printed in 2015. You won't see this number skyrocket. Now, there's not only 30 or 100. 237 still very low, especially when you compare it to Luka, who's 2,400 of them. Devin Booker's averaging 26 points per game, 7 assists. He just turned 29 years old. And we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the cream of the crop right now. His card's up 76%, $480. It's selling at $1,100. There's 712 in this pop count. It's a 2018, and he's crazy numbers: 32 points per game, 6.6 assists, 5 rebounds. He's 27 years old. He's on the best team in the NBA. He's the best player, the MVP on the best team in the NBA. They have one loss and 19 or 20 wins, depending when we're watching this or I'm shooting this. It's incredible. And they're so deep, and they play a style of basketball that not every other team plays. They don't just rely on 3-pointers. They're going to be a very tough team to beat. Austin Reeves, along with Luka, he was maybe injured in the playoffs last year. I mean, he was injured, but it was a quiet injury, and he has to play better if Lakers have any chance to go doing anything in the playoffs. But this card is up 80% this year, starting at $76 up to $137. There's only 85 in this pop count in a PSA 10. I expect that could rise at any moment. There's definitely more of those out there. It just, a lot of them haven't been great. He's averaging 28 points per game. Now LeBron's back. You assume that number will go down, but 7 assists and almost 6 rebounds. All right, now I move to Nikola Jokic, where this card was under $3,000 at the beginning of the year, where now it's at $5,400. But there's only 192. Jokic has the NBA championship, multiple MVPs. His numbers are ridiculous. He passes the eye test, one of the most fun big men to ever watch. I don't know what the long term for Jokic is with only one title, but they're only being 192 in a silver. I think is the card you want. There's a huge premium on it compared to the other cards we've seen on this list. He's currently averaging 30 points per game, 13 rebounds and 11 assists. Just ridiculous. He'll be 31, so he's still not an old man. He still has more years left in the tank, and I'd argue that he needs another title. Him and Jamal Murray need to put it together. It won't be easy. There's tons of young, good talent, but he's maybe the best player in the NBA right now. And now you look up, maybe some consider, no, Wemby is the best player already at his young age. He's the best player in the NBA. This card started at $716. It's at $1,500. It's up 110%, even though you see a recent fall. How far will it go? But it's currently selling at $1,500. The problem is there's almost 5,000 in a PSA 10. That's ridiculous. That's not good. That's too many. And so when you see some scarcity in these things, yes, that's good. That's you want those. That's why that price ticks up. There's only 200 for Jokic compared to 5,000 for Wemby. But Wemby's averaging 26 points per game, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. He's 21 years old. His blocks are ridiculous, 3 or 4 blocks per game. And next, we're almost done here. We're at Kawhi Leonard, 140% rate growth rate. He is that 2012 class. There's only 47 in a PSA 10. This is went from $1,300 to over $3,000, but it might be a well-spent $3,000 because there's only 47, and Kawhi did win titles. Kawhi is one of the best defensive players of all time. Unfortunately, the latter half of his career didn't go the way you'd want. 23 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. The Clippers are a mess. He's 34 years old, so he's getting up there in age. Still a young guy now here. It took him a couple years. Cade Cunningham, his card's up 150%. It's selling at $750. There's only 370 in a PSA 10. I'd expect that to rise, but the price might continue to rise with how well the Pistons are playing, and he's leading the way with 28 points per game, 9 assists. He's 24 years old. We're down to our last couple players. Here's out of order, but Anthony Davis up 48%. It's selling at $1,300. He's part of that 2012 class. There's only 34 in a PSA 10, averaging 10 rebounds per game on a terrible Dallas team right now. Anthony Davis, 32 years old, turned 33 later this season. Pascal Siakam up 150%. It's a 2016 rookie. His PSA 10 pop count's only 214. It's still a very, relatively low car, $125 for, and there's only 214 of these. Now, again, why in the hell does anyone want Siakam down the road or even now? He's a 24 points per game. He puts up other numbers. He's aging. He'll be 32. He hasn't, but good player, all-star, no one will care down the road. Now we finally hit the last player. Can you believe this guy's up 635%? Wow, 157 in a PSA 10, the 2021 Prizm. It's at $250, but the reason this thing is incredible is it was only $35 a year ago. So if you had this card for $35, it's at $250 today. Giddey's averaging 20 points per game, almost 10 rebounds and 10 assists for this 23-year-old. So that's why you see that huge spike in value. I noticed a lot of volatility on this list. Just some of these charts are all over the place throughout the year. The NBA cards did take a huge fall from 2022 to 2024. They got so hyped up and propped up in the COVID years, and then they took a big fall. So 2025, the trend seems to be that a lot of these cards are up. The price gains and drops do seem semi-random. Anthony Davis going up and some other players going down. So semi-random, some logic to it, but also semi-random. I didn't include Curry, LeBron, Westbrook, Durant, Harden, or Chris Paul. They don't have a Prizm Silver rookie card. I am thinking about making a standalone video of Curry or LeBron. So if you're still watching, comment. Would you rather watch a standalone video on Curry's cards or LeBron's cards? Put that in the chat. Thank you for watching this whole thing. I know it ran a little bit long. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day.
What up, everybody? This is Robert Ory, a.k.a. Big Shot Bob, and you're watching Professional Sports Cards. Hey, by the way, go buy my rookie card.